Surviving axe fencing manuscripts all explain why. The first thing that happens if you clash axe head to axe head is they can get tangled. Then it just turns into a trial of strength, a bit of a tugging match. And frankly, that's not to either of us' advantage. It's going to waste time. So, what you do is you approach your opponent with the unencumbered tail end forwards, so that there's no chance of anything clashing. It also, of course, leaves the big heavy hammerhead available to deliver a quite literally brain-dissolving heavy impact blow, which surprisingly is what Dean tries to do to me straight away.
Well, pretty much because Stuart stood there and let me do it, I'm going to do it. Bang! Hit him right on the head as best I can.
Yeah, just as we said with the Dane axes earlier this morning, if that connected with my helmet without him pulling the blow, there's a fair chance I'd be unconscious on the floor right now, quite possibly dribbling my brain out of my nose. If I manage to step slightly close to him so that I avoid that, he's now got a useful anchor point on the back of my neck, and he can pull me off balance, then bayonet me in the face. So, I need to get out of the way. The best thing I can do is step slightly backwards and offline, but as my insurance policy, use the cue, the wooden shaft of my own poleaxe, to deflect his attack. Now I've done that, I've got the butt end, the butt spike there, perfectly lined up to jam up his nose. So I will deliver a probing, thrusting attack into his face.
I'm going to run away from that.
Very wise.
And close it down pretty quickly, just with the back edge of my poleaxe. I'm in a pretty vulnerable position until that point, so I have to give ground. Stuart's got very much control of the fight at that point. But once I've displaced this end of his poleaxe, I can then come straight back in that line towards his head from the upward plane where he left me.
Okay, so I'm on the run again, stepping back, quickly bringing my axe across to deflect him. Now we've got the potential here of those heads getting entangled again, so I quickly need to wind the spike forwards, on line, try another thrusting attack for his face.
I'm just going to lift that up. My intention here is to lift it up and close distance. Get my leg behind his leg, drop my armour and hands down and throw him over my hip. The way that the fight originally ended was Stuart did that to me. I think he got that from me.
He's literally taught me everything I know of this guy, so...
The other thing that we need to be careful of, especially with the poleaxe, is the fact that we've established it's a two-handed system. If Stuart overcommits to that particular defence, there he comes in, displaces me here. If he displaces me too much, that's what happens. I can let go. And effectively, I've created a fulcrum in the middle of this weapon to enable the other end to move around very, very quickly. So Stuart knows that. That's why he was winding so as to not overbind on one side or the other.
Indeed. So from that wind, Dean lifts his hands and tries to go for the throw. I'm stepping backwards. Oh, I've got your fingers. I'm stepping backwards and jamming it down. Unfortunately, that brings the head end of his axe live, so I need to defend again, stepping back twice. I can't allow him to get a third attack in, because then I would literally be on the ropes. So, a quick thrust back at his face again. Gets him on the run. This time, I have the advantage. Before Dean can step in and attack me again, bring the head end over, keep him moving back, keep him on his toes. Unfortunately, he's jumped back a little bit too far. By the time we've finished that sequence, we're sort of out of fighting distance, so it's not worth me trying to pursue him. If I do, I'm just giving him time. So we break off briefly. He's defending against a high line there, so I've got my axe held low. We're just sort of eyeing each other up like a pair of angry tomcats, depending on who. Oh look, he's dropped his defence. Perfect. I'm going to bayonet him in the face before he has time to think about it. So he can do it. Oh, bugger.
If I keep the Q end of this up high enough, I will be able to push the Q end through. My objective is to try and hit him in the shoulder or in the elbow. If that doesn't work, that's fine, because I can push this end once I've got a connection point there and now collapse my opponent's structure quite convincingly. Now Stuart doesn't necessarily know that's what my intention is, but he can feel me pushing in a specific direction, and he winds or moves against where that pressure is coming from in the fight.
Indeed I do. So once my initial attack has failed, Dean goes for his counter-attack. I feel it happening and quickly just push his axe down.
We mentioned the leverage principle. He's dropped the Q end down, which means the head end comes in, bang!
Now that's coming in too straight towards my forehead for me to step off line and sweep it aside. So what I can do is kind of hunker down a bit and bring my axe shaft up so he's caught me between the hands. Now that's fine, because what he's probably going to do now is pull, hoping to disarm me and stab me in the armpits. But I'm expecting that.
He's expecting that because we just practiced it with the longsword.
Yeah. So, as he begins to pull, I'm stepping with it, bringing my poleaxe across, maybe catch him across the head as we go, that'll do nicely. Now jam it back under his chin, my knee is behind his knee, so if I pivot my hips one way and my top half the other, I've got a good chance of knocking him to the floor. Dean has an irritatingly good sense of balance, so I might need to just press with my knee behind his to push him down. From that position, the gentleman would yield.
Yeah, that'll do.